Hello, everyone. It is 11:30 Central, so we will get started. Thank you for tuning in to today's webinar, Master Sterile Techniques, a hands-on demo of the Sterile Techniques Simulator. My name is Kelsey, and I will be your moderator for today's presentation. First, here is your 30-second introduction to Realityworks for those of you who aren't familiar with us. We are an employee-owned company based in Eau Claire, Wisconsin that creates experiential learning tools for teaching job and life skills. We got our start over 20 years ago when former NASA engineer Rick Germain created the first RealCare baby infant simulator, then went on to found the company that is now Realityworks. Today, our training tools combine curriculum with hands-on learning tools, student activities, and assessments. Baby is still around, but now you can look to us for our tools like our bovine birthing and ultrasound simulator, our virtual welding simulator, our wearable geriatric sensitivity suits, and if you have some time, we encourage you to check out our website and see it all. Presenting today, we have with us Jamie McIntosh. He is the Education Programs Manager here at Realityworks. Jamie has been with the company for over 10 years and came to Realityworks with an extensive education background as a former educator teaching in Wisconsin and Colorado. His topics cover student engagement, technology in the classroom, filling the skills gap, business education, and various agriculture and welding topics. Before we get started, I want to cover a couple things. First, today's presentation is being recorded and all attendees will receive a link containing the recording, as well as a copy of the PowerPoint slides and free resources. For those of you attending live today, you also receive a certificate of completion for attending today's presentation. And keep an eye on your email. You will receive an email within 24 hours after the presentation. And we will have time at the end for Q&A, so feel free to type your questions in the chat or Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screen. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to Jamie.
Hey, thank you very much. And thank you for everyone for taking the time to be with us here today as we give a demo and a little bit more understanding about our Sterile Techniques Simulator. So we're going to talk through what you'll see today. So we will learn about the features of Sterile Techniques Simulator. I am going to be doing a live demo of this product, highlighting the main features, the tracheostomy suctioning, central line dressing, and catheterization. Then we're going to talk a little bit about how it fits within the teaching standards of health science and also give you a glimpse of the curriculum that comes along with this product. So again, as was said, if there are questions, feel free to ask them as we go. We'll have a question and answer time at the very end as well, hoping to make sure that you get what you're looking for through this presentation. So we're going to start with talking about what we've heard from our customers and from people who have helped us to develop this. And they say it's a large game of operation. And so if you really think about what we're trying to do here, we're trying to teach sterility. And so like what you've seen, or if you remember the game of operation, making sure that you keep things where they're supposed to be, don't touch certain things, making sure that you are doing things in a correct manner to help your patient get better. So what we have is our Sterile Techniques Simulator, and this comes from educators like yourselves who, after talking to them, say one of the things that we have a hard time with is making sure students are always practicing and keeping the sterile locations and the sterile places sterile while we are teaching and training them, and being able to have them learn over every single time they do that to make sure that they are not breaking sterility. So what we have is we have a product that actually helps with this, and you can see the little sections here where we have our lights that allow you to be able to do tracheostomy suctioning, central line dressing, and then is your sterile field status? Is it intact or do you break sterility? And so really it is kind of like a big game of operation, but the great piece about it is that it's an engagement for your students and a training tool for them to be able to learn proper technique every single time they're working in this field. So let's talk a little bit about what the product includes. So we have a what we call the chest sterile board and a pelvis sterile board. The great piece about this is it has two different sections, and you get two sets of our gloves and our all the materials you need for both sections. So you can actually do or have two different students have two different kind of setups, if you want to say, or stations for this product. Now, with this product, you can see that there is a brown color, or I'm sorry, a gray color, a dark color in this of the sterile boards themselves. That is what we call our smart technology, and it's a connectivity technology that go with our smart sterile gloves. So every time that you touch the product, it is able to see where you're touching, what you're touching, to make sure that you are not breaking sterility. So all this product includes are all the different things you need, from your equipment tray, your sterile line, cleaning swab, your drape, your pelvic board has your swab sticks. It has both interchangeable genitalia for both male and female, so you can do catheterization on both, and then also your smart catheter and collecting bag as well. So why is all this important is because what we found and what we really see here is the ability for us to help students learn common sterile procedures and allow them to practice over and over again. As we have heard in the field, it's not just can I get this do this correctly, but it's the procedure of doing it's how I place my hands, where I put my tools, how do I take my tools out of my tray. Those are the types of things that are really being taught through the features here and this product. So every time you practice, you get that valuable feedback back on proper protocol. Are you doing it correctly? That engagement to keep the sterile field intact is there every single time. Every time you move a instrument or your hand, it can tell if you're doing it correctly and allow for any of those slight brushes or those little mistakes to be felt and seen. So then you can make sure that you're doing proper practice every single time, and it allows for assessment as well. So this helps with that interpersonal skills. While you're working through these skills, how would you be greeting your patient? How would you be working with your patient? And then also professional skills. Am I doing these procedures correctly every single time? We talked to one instructor, and she had a great quote, a college nursing instructor who said, performing something like a central line is not that hard of a procedure, but it is a high risk procedure. And students may be okay with learning it, but the practice of it is so important. And I think that's the thing that we've really found, and where this product really helps students is the high risk of making sure that you are not breaking sterility and understanding the sterile fields that you're a part of, and working through that over and over, so then it becomes second nature. It becomes something that they feel confident and comfortable doing every single time. So with that being said, I'm going to walk us through a demonstration of the sterile skills field here. And so what I have is I have this set up here for us then to be able to go through and see our and be able to show here all the different things that we are doing. So in this case, I have our board here, which is the chest board, and then we also have the pelvic board here. Now, the great piece about this is you get two sets of our smart sterile gloves. So one of the things that you have to do is actually work through with your students and go through that motion of, okay, how am I going to put my gloves on? What we do then is we start our practice here with the gloves already on. So working with your students to do that up front, and then working with your gloves here, our smart gloves, as your students put them on. Now, I'm going to just briefly show you these different parts and pieces. I want to make sure with the time we have, I will try to do it as sterile as possible. I'll also make a few mistakes so you can see how that broken sterility works with the product. So I'm going to kind of run through here the different feature sets that we have. And so in this case, when I turn on my product here, it actually goes and I have a whole bunch of visuals that I can see. So I'm going to try to do a close-up here of that. And really nothing too important, but you can see what I have here is I have the ability to do tracheostomy and central line. So I can switch between the two. I'm going to do the trach suction first, and then I also have practice and assessment. Now, the difference is that with practice and assessment, one of the things that I can do here is as I go through this, with a practice, it's going to tell me every single time if my sterile field is intact or if it has been broken. Now, with that breaking of sterility, that practice allows you to say, where did I mess up? What did I do incorrectly? Now, when you do the assessment, it won't show if you broke or you didn't break, or if you were intact with your sterility. That then makes you have to go through the whole process and then see if you did it correctly at the end. That allows you to then be able to see, okay, can I do this process without any guides or help to be able to do that? Allowing that practice over and over again, both in practice and in assessment mode. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do trach suction. Everything's set up here. And so I'm going to start with the trach suction. We have a button here where you can use your elbow to intact my field, and I'm now ready to go. I have my suction here ready to go. And in my tray, I've already placed my suction catheter here. So I'm going to put this in place here. And I already broke sterility. Right there, showing me, you hear that little beep? All right, I did that incorrectly. So I can come back in. How do I want to do this? What do I want to do to do it correctly? So in this case here, bring it together, starting over again. All right, making sure that I am not breaking sterility in this. In this case, then, I'm ready to go. I can come in here. And I have broken sterility. Why did I break sterility? Because in this case here, I'm going to come back out, start over again, is I didn't do my suction first. So if a student is not ready and available, they do the suction first. So wanting to start back over here, doing my suction, getting ready to go here, now going in. And if you hear that, there's a cough. I've gone in far enough, all right? And now I can bring it back out, do my weave, and then being able to do my suction, all right? In this case, still intact. I'm gonna go back down in, come back up. Hear the cough again, be able to do that. Practicing that suction. Now, I'm going to purposely break sterility here where if I touch on the outside, all right, I've broken my sterility. Any place here, if I take a hand, put it and move it, it knows what I'm doing and checking to see. So it allows me to be able to do that. The next piece that I want to show, so I'll put that back in here, is our central line here. So in this case, we have our central line. Again, I would start over. I would work on making sure that I knew how to put on my gloves correctly. My gloves are now in place. What we have here is within our tray here, our tray has connectivity here. We have our sponges here to break. So I am going to go through, and I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to move to the central line. I'm going to do a practice here. And my procedure is ready and active. So in this case here, I can come in here, I break my sponge. And the way this works is that within this, there's connectivity points all the way through here. We have sensors all over here. So as I come in here and I go through this, I'm going to do my swabbing and do my movement here. Now, if I do it correctly, we move here. All the lights show up here showing that I got the area I needed to be able to do the whole sterilization here and keeping it clean while I do my my swabs here. All right. Once I've done that, then I can come back down. I can then now do my dressing. Now I didn't have my dressing in here. I should have that in there. But going through this again, going on here, and oops, this is going to break here, but going through this, I can go on here And as I put in, if I touch in the wrong place, put my hand down here, it's going to break sterility. All right, I'll come back up here, working on here to get that in place, working to get that intact, keep that procedure active, and keeping my sterility intact. All right, that is the central line. Now, I'm going to move here and take my parts and pieces with me, because we're going to now focus on the catheterization portion of this. So all I'm going to do here is plug in. I'm going to put my catheter in here. Now, you have two pairs of gloves. I just have the ones I'm wearing, so I'm just going to move these over here. Be able to come over here. And I am doing the same thing. I can show you. Hopefully you can see this as I get close here. We have our sterile board. We have the male genitalia. We have female genitalia. And again, practice or assessment. We also have sterility field intact or broken, and then the procedure so I can get started here. So as we go through this process here, I've already put my things in place. I would, again, glove up first. I'm going to come in here, get my things in place, move some of my stuff I don't need in here. Right. A few things that I have is I have my swabs for this. This is all in place. And then we have both male and female genitalia here. We're doing the female genitalia. And so I am going to start. My procedure is active. Everything's intact. So in this case here, I'm going to work to get into position, take my swab, and go through the swabbing procedure here. Making sure that everything is still intact. So good so far. I've done that. All right. Now I'm going to take my catheter. And working, get it into place, into proper thing. And I moved my hand and I touched, and therefore it showed that I've broken sterility. So, whoops. So in this situation here, as we go about this, one of the things that happens then is working with this is trying to get this so then I'm doing it correctly. And again, this is where that procedure works. This importance of the procedure here is, as I'm doing this, how does things fit into the tray? Where do I put things? How do I connect it so then I am keeping sterility? Allowing me then to redo over and over again. So in this case, I can hit the button, all right, and I can start over. Allowing your students to be able to do this over and over, both on the chest board here and the pelvic board here as well. So a little demonstration here, and again, you hear different beeps there. I did it wrong. I didn't do it right every single time, but I learned from my mistakes. What did I do wrong? How do I go and do it again? What do I do, and what do I need to do from there? So bringing us back to the whole purpose of this demonstration is to give you a little insight to how this product works and how you can use it in your classroom. You can set it in, two different beds. You can have it in a classroom setting. You can have it in your sim lab setting, but allow students to be able to do repeated practice on sterile skills over and over again. So why is this important to us? Well, we feel that engagement is one of our big standards here at Realityworks. And so the standard that we have here is, how do we engage your students and help your students learn in a way that teaches them correct skills every single time? So what we have is, we've looked at and we focus on our standards that are within health science, things like hand hygiene, all right? This the ability to maintain that sterile environment, practice personal protective equipment usage, the sterile field maintenance, handling sterile instruments, and then waste disposal. So all these standards that we have here within the National Consortium for Health Science Education, for other standards that are involved, from state standards to national standards, all of them focus on the sterile field and how do we make sure that sterility is taught and is shown as important within the classroom. This product helps do that, does that, excuse me. We also include sterile technique curriculum. So we focus on tracheostomy. We also do central line and then urinary catheterization. And so we have curriculum, 4 different lessons that teach sterility basics and then individually what you need to do. Now, this is a great piece for you as a supplemental piece of the puzzle for what you're teaching already. Use this as you need from our PowerPoints, from our worksheets, from our activities, and then use the product. So you can implement this as you see fit or use it all together with the product itself. So to kind of recap here, I want us to go and focus on just what we've learned so far. And we have a quick short video just giving you an overview of what I just tried to demonstrate in our short time that we had here together.
The Sterile Techniques Simulator is designed to help nursing students master the essential skills of maintaining sterility in clinical settings. Sterile technique is critical to patient safety, and with this simulator, students can practice maintaining sterility during central line dressing changes, tracheostomy suctioning, and both male and female catheterization, while receiving immediate feedback if they break sterility. Students can practice independently, correcting their mistakes in real time. This immediate feedback allows learners to study and improve on their own, freeing up valuable time for instructors to focus on other aspects of teaching. The Sterile Techniques Simulator helps students build confidence in their technique, ensuring they develop the skills necessary for real-world career success. Contact us today to learn more about this powerful teaching tool.
So that is just a quick kind of end overview for us here to be able to see and walk through with you what we've kind of just talked through in this whole piece of the puzzle here. And so we want to open it up now for any questions you might have, as we kind of showed it quickly, but give you that insight of what is happening and how our technology works to give your students that learning objective of making sure they keep the sterile fields open. So want to see if there's any questions at this time.
Perfect, Jamie. It does look like we've had a couple questions roll in here.
Wonderful.
So first question being, can students put on sterile gloves before putting the simulator gloves on to practice sterile gloves application and keep the simulator gloves more clean between users?
Yes, that's a great question to ask. The great thing about these is that these can be hand washed, so they can be cleaned. And yes, we would always suggest that would be a great way is to have them glove up first, put their gloves on first, because they're going to be putting this over, and then this is what the feel and the connectivity will be going against. So this is a great piece to put your your regular nursing glove on and then put this over them. So then they are getting that full experience of how to actually take that glove, put it on without any, breaking of sterility in that world.
Perfect. And then kind of just to piggyback off that question, do students need to have their own dedicated gloves in this scenario?
In this scenario, so you get our connectivity smart gloves with it, and so you get one set that goes with the lower and one set that goes to the upper. So these go with the product, and you can interchange them, but you need them to work with the product. If you're asking for, do you need your own nursing glove or your glove to put on first, that isn't necessary, but we do like to have you teach them that proper fitting of your hand before you would go and do that.
Perfect. And then another question is, how would you clean the simulator? Is there any lubricant that you can use with the catheter simulation?
Yeah, so the nice piece about this is that, one of the things is we don't include water or we don't include any of those kind of things. And one thing I failed to mention that I should have is with the catheter is when you get the catheter in, you put it in, the lights at the bottom all light up, and they all light up yellow, showing kind of that urine would be flowing through at that point. So you'd be able to see that would be happening. So in this case, you don't use any lubricant, you don't do anything. It's all set up so then you kind of would be not have that mess, but you would teach that with the students beforehand. So you teach those things and then making sure that they don't do any sterilization or keep their field sterile in that sense. So washing though, like I said, the gloves, they are hand washable. So you can do that. We wouldn't say put them in a washing machine or anything, but they're hand washable. They're reusable. And then for the connectivity itself, it is, if you want to say, painted on or put on here. So you can use a damp cloth to clean off the top without really having any problems there.
Perfect. And then another question here. Do you need actual working suction? And is there any specific type of central line dressing that is needed?
Yeah, so with ours, we have our own central line here. And so you use this, you wouldn't use a real central line suction for this. The way we have it is you have your tray where you would have um, your saline be able to do that. And so you would use this and not use a real central line. So we've created that central line for you so you wouldn't use, I'm sorry, not central line, excuse me, your own suction so you wouldn't have to use that. To the point of the central line, we've tried different bandages or coverings here. We are using just a film dressing here, but there are different types. And we've used most all of the known ones, working with different sim labs that they use. And so you can use pretty much any type of dressing covering, and it will work with this one, because of how the ability to touch and feel that connectivity is there no matter what. And then just kind of to see, you can then pull it off and it comes right off, and then do it again with another dressing.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I don't see any other questions at this time. So on the next slide, if you are interested in speaking with our own local Realityworks account manager, getting more information on this product, that kind of thing, you can scan the QR code on your screen, and we're more than happy to connect you with that rep there. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming to our demo today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.